Hello, everybody. How are we doing? It is Annette The Peacemaker coming to you live on Facebook, my personal profile, as well as on the Yang Gang Report, and then also on my YouTube channel, Annette The Peacemaker. So how is everybody doing today? I'm trying a new time slot. It is actually 1 o'clock in Arizona right now, even though I titled this the 12 o'clock news cruise. I did that at like 12:09. So I'm like, well, it's not the 12:09 news cruise. So anyway, it's 12 o'clock someplace, right? All right. So I'm trying a new thing. I have this little background music going on. You guys can let me know if you like it or if it's a distraction or what. I'm just kind of trying some new things. Just to make it a little bit more fun and make it maybe feel a little bit more professional. So any input is appreciated. So I guess we're just going to jump right into it. And we're going to start doing the news cruise. All right. Oops. Share. My camera's in the way. There we go. All right, so I'm on YouTube. Actually, let's go to Twitter first. I usually go to Twitter first. And then we're going to search Andrew Yang. I don't usually write down his Twitter follower numbers till nighttime. But last night when I wrote the number down, he was at 1,893,000. And now he's up to 1,894,000. Just since like late last night, like 10:30 or so, is when I wrote it down. So anyway, he's making great strides there all the time. It's his pinned tweet. We've already seen that. So this is good for the folks that don't have Twitter and don't feel like making Twitter. Yang is very, very present on Twitter. That's where you get all the good stuff. So even if you just made a Twitter account just to follow Yang and other Yang Gang members, that's pretty much what I did. But my Twitter is predominantly politically geared towards it's geared towards politics. Yeah. All right, so things are breaking in a positive direction just in time for Election Day. Okay, so Warnock is at 49.6%, and then Ossoff is at 49.3%. Okay, so here we've got something from Martin Luther King III, MLK 3. Okay, hold on, I'm going to pause I'll pause the music so we can listen to this part.
Justice. Vote for those who lost their lives to gun violence. Vote for those who are suffering from environmental injustice. And vote for all the children who simply can't vote. Vote for those who lost their lives.
Oh, who's this precious girl? Is that his daughter, you think?
And vote for all the children who simply can't vote.
Oh, she's precious.
Who lost their lives to gun violence.
She put some passion in her speech there. She's got to be a MLK generation. Okay, so one more day to win the Senate and demote Mitch McConnell. Woo-woo! We've only got one more day to finally flip the Senate blue. So today we're making calls to Georgians to make sure they have a plan to vote tomorrow. Join us throughout the day to make calls for Reverend Warnock and Ossoff. Let's win this thing. Okay, and then there's today is Monday. So if you didn't know this already, Andrew Yang has his own podcast, his own YouTube channel, and it's called yangspeaks.com. And he comes out with a new one every Monday, premieres a new one, and then sometimes I see him premiere others. So I think he's just a really busy man. And so I've seen him come out on days other than Monday, I think. But let's listen to this part.
The American economy.
It genuinely does feel like history has found the two of you and put you in this position because so much does rest on this race. And there could not be two better individuals to represent the Democratic Party and the hopes and dreams of tens of millions of Americans.
We need to invest in America. And one of the things that both John and I agree on, and we've been talking about, is a historic investment in infrastructure, which would include also green infrastructure, so that we create jobs with a livable wage for people in the short term and position the American economy to compete in a global world.
You know, Reverend and I were discussing this recently, and how an infrastructure plan can really unite the people of the state because of the economic opportunity that it represents for communities, urban, suburban, and rural. Because if done right, it will mean equitable access to economic opportunity for marginalized communities, because it means that those 9 rural hospitals that have closed in 10 years can be replaced and more built. It means clinics can be built in underserved areas. It means rural broadband, which is the rural electrification of our time. It means environmental remediation where there's been contamination. It means the kinds of investments in clean energy that mean we're not only building a sustainable economy, but also one where Georgia is the leading producer of clean energy in the region. That is an initiative that can unite the people of this state, that can break down partisan barriers. And what this moment represents in Georgia, again, when you got a young Jewish son of an immigrant, a white guy running alongside a black pastor, the senior pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church, and we present this vision of opportunity and health and justice for all people in this state. What this is and what this will be is a repudiation of the Republican Party's Southern strategy to divide people in Georgia and Southern states along racial and cultural lines so that we fail to grasp our shared interests.
Excellent. So these guys sound like they are really good guys, and I'm glad that Andrew is supporting them. They seem really genuine and good people. So if you don't know already, if you are new to the Yang Gang or new to Andrew Yang, you can go to yangspeaks.com. I highly recommend that anybody that is curious about him go to yangspeaks.com and start watching these videos or listening to them. I like watching them on YouTube because I like watching like facial expressions and body language and stuff, but I'm pretty sure these are odd. I think they're audio. I don't know. Let's click on it and see if it's just audio or what. It doesn't want to. Come on now. Well, anyways, you guys get the picture. So yangspeaks.com, or you can find it at Yang Speaks on YouTube. So that is good. I try to listen to every one of them. I may have missed one or two here and there, but I'm pretty dedicated Yang Gang, man. Okay, so one more day until Georgia. Does anybody have the mask? I would like to order the Cancel Poverty mask from the Humanity Forward website, which counts as a donation to the nonprofit, right? So I want to get the Humanity Forward, the Cancel Poverty, but they're out of stock. So I'll have to check frequently and snatch one up. Okay, I don't care about the sports stuff. Voight, 17 hours. So this is so he's super focused on Georgia right now. Haven't really heard too much about like the mayor stuff just yet. And then, okay, so yeah, now we're into yesterday's. And then let's go over to YouTube. And I've already filtered it for today. So here it is at the top of the list is the full version of today's episode of Yang Speaks. And let's see how long of a video it is. They're usually roughly an hour. I don't really see them go over too very far over an hour very much. But so there's that. Okay, so here's Tom from Nerds for Yang. Let's click on this for a few minutes. This is just a day ago. So everybody go, what?
In today's episode.
How am I not? Because I'm not signed in. Okay. I was going to say, I know I'm subscribed,
I just got muted,
but I'm not signed in.
So in today's episode, I've got Seth Barron from the City Journal and Badrun Khan from the Yang Gang in Queens. And we're going to talk about Andrew Yang's run for mayor. What ails New York City? Does the Yang have any chance at all, or is he a front runner or not? So much to discuss. And then we're going to wrap up with Badrun's own run for city council. But first,
what's the deal? All right, fine. We're going to go like this then, since they're going to be poopy like that. Okay, Andrew Yang. Oh, I'm not signed in. This is so weird. Sorry, everybody. This is really lame. That's why it's being weird. Okay, Andrew Yang, filter for today. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Okay, so here we go. That's where we were. Can they win? So you can... Digital marketing agency. That's 3 minutes. Final Georgia runoffs prediction. No. Okay, so this premieres today. Is today the 4th? Yep. Okay, so today at 6 p.m., I'm going to try to tune in for this. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Jewel Media on YouTube. There's a documentary watch party, one night only. So she has, Ching Jewel has a new documentary that she's premiering tonight, and I'm excited about that. I already thought I set my reminder, but there the reminder is on. Okay, so this is the Yang Gang Roundtable. And where do they get on? Is that on? It's on some other, it's like on Twitch or something. Or Discord.
Temperature drops and energy fields and things like that.
all right, now we're live. Now we're live on YouTube.
Oh, yay.
Hello. We're just doing a pre-stream. Karen is here. Our schedule is always chaotic.
Let's fast forward a little bit.
Anyway.
I know that our friends Faye and Ariel join this roundtable podcast often.
It works every time.
If that's the way you play that, then you get the result of they're not going to just be mad at the one side.
Yeah.
This is a failure of the whole thing. And
Okay, so here's our friend Faye Doney. She was just on a couple days ago, and she's campaigning for UBI right now as we speak, decorating her truck.
Wow.
Okay, so that's someone I recognize. I don't recognize these other folks.
For the runoff election.
There's Ariel. So I know these two people. Okay,
Are you
so
gonna
We
do
are
Twitch stream?
streaming. We are streaming this. We are
Yeah,
streaming
yeah,
this.
I mean, yeah, like stream,
Twitch.
always
Yeah.
stream a
Okay.
video.
So that is on
Get a
Twitch,
sense of,
you
like,
guys. It's called the Yang Gang Roundtable. Why don't we vote online from the comfort of our home? I agree with that question. I would love it if we would do that. Okay, I don't really see too much more on Yang. But I could go to some subscriptions and see if there's anything new, because Boyce puts out new stuff on Mindful Skeptics pretty frequently. Okay, Grassroots Yang Gang is live right now. I always like what they have going
They
on.
will target you, and it sucks so bad because
This is our Yang Gang brother Al Womble. I believe he lives in Iowa.
Intentionally to get you again and again and again and again, and that's how they keep the system full.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. You know, we do kind of have that, you know, economic caste system in the United States, which limits people's, you know, abilities to get, you know, proper education, proper health care, other economic opportunities. And when you look at the fact that sometimes you're going to apply for a job and maybe you are the perfect candidate, but that particular employer also reviews your credit rating, use that as a disqualifier for you to be in that particular position, that's absolutely insane.
I agree with that.
That's why, you know, I'm so happy about where I work now with New Frontier Action Fund, because we are trying to combat those kind of things. We're trying to combat poverty. We're trying to combat, you know, people not having proper access to, you know, medical health or, you know, access to a good education. And, you know, and make the rest of society understand that, listen, these same problems that these people are facing could one day be your problem too. Just because you're not facing it, you need to realize what's affecting them is going to affect you. You need to understand that, because we all live together in the same community. Now, if you talk about like Iowa, some of the poorer counties that are here and the problems that those individuals face, it does affect, you know, other parts of the state. I can't
go off of this screen, you guys.
That's why we need to come up with
so everybody should go to YouTube and go to Grassroots Yang Gang and subscribe to their channel, please. And make sure you give a thumbs up to this video. And then you come over here and you share the video, like everywhere.
And you know what's so frustrating?
Share the heck out of it, because this is always good. Always good stuff from this channel.
Was one of them. And now I'm in a state where there is a lot of poverty. Here in Vermont, you're either very well off or you're living in a house with a bunch of other people. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And the powers that be in Washington don't understand how poverty leads to so many other things. Like, there is a very real opioid crisis. You know, we lost one of the Yang Gang just a few days ago, Juanito, to an opioid overdose.
Yeah.
Rest in peace,
Juanito.
Juanito.
It's so heartbreaking because what happens is, you know, people get in these situations and you're poor, and it's like you don't have any way out. You don't have any options. So you just want to escape. So you maybe use a drug. And you get started on opioids or something like that just to escape. And it becomes this harsh reality that floods into so many other areas of people's lives. And like that's what's so frustrating when you hear someone like Andrew Yang come along and he's like, you know what, guys? Man, we can virtually eliminate poverty in this country. All we got to do is institute this thing called a freedom dividend and tax these rich-ass companies that are paying zero in taxes. And we can help all these people. And when I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast, I was like, this is such a revolutionary idea. This would help so many areas. You would see so many things in this country improve just from people having money. Money solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, it does. I mean, when you talk about just things like, let's say, food insecurity, you know, there's some people maybe say, $1,000 is much. That a month, that's not much, depending on where you live. You know, I I live in Des Moines, Iowa. $1,000 a month is probably going to go
Iowa.
farther than it would in a place like New York. But at the same point in time, you look at how that might be able to help with food insecurity. If you're somebody who's barely scraping by to pay your rent, to pay for gas, to do all the other things you do, that $1,000 a month is going to make sure that you help keep your family fed. And therefore, that's going to free you up to be able to do other things rather than just constantly worrying about that or picking up another side hustle. You say you're in Vermont. I had a chance to visit Williston, Vermont a long time ago. That anywhere near where you're at?
Everything in Vermont is like, it doesn't matter which direction you go. You're the same distance from everything.
All right, brother. That sounds good. No, but yeah, it's one of those things where, Andrew had a lot of ideas that I think they were so big, some people couldn't necessarily comprehend it. And, when we talk about, eliminating poverty and all the good that would do for the United States and all that good that would do for our different citizens, especially in a time like right now, there are some people who, rather than living in desperation, can say, well, I got a means and a way to go forward. I have a way that I can continue. And, that's extremely important at a time like this. So for me, when we look at some of the concepts, and especially when we talk about, certain companies not paying, anything in taxes, you're wanting the benefits of our police department, our fire department, our roads, our bridges, but you don't want to pay for any of them. That doesn't make any sense for me. That's like me wanting to join a gym and saying, okay, you and you are going to pay for it. I'm not going to pay for it, but I'm going to be the person that uses it the most. That doesn't make any sense to me. When we live in a place like this, those taxes, being able to tax some of those, internet companies or some of those tech companies, so they're properly paying into the system and then using that money to just straight get back people, then we're going to see that we have a more equitable nation. Then we see people aren't struggling the way they are. And that bothers me because when I look at like some of our urban areas and some of our rural areas, it doesn't matter where you look, they're affected by some of the same issues. There's a lack of job opportunities, which leads to a lack of tax base, which leads to a lack of funding for education and lack of infrastructure development. And that's the same thing that you can say that happens in some of our, poorest rural areas and some of our poorest urban areas. So then how do we correct that type of situation? And
Okay.
I think, when I heard you earlier about
as much as I like, I'm going to come back and watch this on the replay later on. I'll watch the whole one. Now let's see if there's any other Yang Gang stuff that we should look at. The Hill, The View. Okay, let's watch Bo of the Fifth Column. He's not necessarily Yang Gang, but man, this guy is so smart. And his videos are nice and short and sweet. So let's watch Bo.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today, we're going to talk about something that we can all learn from Trump's phone call to Georgia. There are moments in that phone call where it certainly sounds like the president believes his own propaganda, believes his own rhetoric. It's something that is common among authoritarians of his ilk. They become so removed, they surround themselves with their most fervent supporters, so they believe their rhetoric is true. And at times, it creates humorous situations. There were a few on that phone call. At the same time, it's also dangerous. On that phone call, Trump's talking about a video. And the people from Georgia are like, we can give you the whole video. We can give you the unedited video. I have a link for you. He's like, no, I have a link for you. Like I've never actually heard cognitive dissonance before. I've never had an audible example, but it certainly occurred there. He knew he was about to get information that directly opposed a closely held belief, and he pushed it away. Because he believes his own rhetoric, because he believes his own propaganda, he has created this entire theory that somehow the Dems rigged it so he lost, while Republicans overall did pretty well. That doesn't even make sense. They're going to go through the trouble of rigging it, but throw the votes for every other race to the Republicans? That would be odd. It seems really unlikely. It seems much more likely that a lot of Republicans who aren't always consistent voters showed up to vote against him, but they still maintained party loyalty. I know some like that. I know a guy who voted for Matt Gaetz, but voted against Trump. That's probably what happened. George is just not that into him. But because he believes his own rhetoric, believes his own slogans, his own propaganda, he can't accept that. This happens a lot. It happens to cops. How many times have you heard it? Police have the most dangerous job in the world. No, they don't. It's not even in the top 10. But because they've said that so much, they begin to act as if it's true. So something that we can all take away from that phone call is to be very conscientious of the slogans and the rhetoric that you allow in your life, and the slogans and rhetoric you use. Because eventually, you may start to believe them. You may start to hold it as a core value. If you repeat something often enough, or you hear something often enough, you begin to accept it as true.
Like UBI is socialism.
That, on some level, may have happened to the president. Doesn't excuse his actions. Your man still has to be held accountable for his words. But it certainly appears that that played into it, because some of it, you could tell he truly believed. His crowd sizes were big. His audience was energetic. He was getting fed those polls, those internet polls, as if they were real. So he believed it. And then the rug got pulled out from underneath. Be aware of the rhetoric you use. Be aware of the slogans you allow to be said to you repeatedly. Make sure they're positive. Make sure they spur you to action in a positive manner. If you want to be the change you want to see in the world, make sure that you surround yourself with that kind of rhetoric, that kind of slogan. The negative slogans, the negative propaganda, it has a purpose to energize the base. But once they're energized, you have to keep moving. You have to create something with that energy. Otherwise, it turns in on itself. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all are ready for the video then. Because words have power. Be careful of the ones you allow in your life. Y'all have a good night.
All right, so that was Bo of the Fifth Column. I love him, actually. I watch him quite a bit. Let's see if there's any more Yang Gang created content. Nothing really. I don't see anything else jumping out at me, you all. So At this time, I guess I will open it up. If anybody wants to jump on here and have a conversation about anything. Ooh, look at the mooch. He looks pretty rough in that picture. That is not really a great thumbnail pic of Scaramucci. I do really love Anthony Scaramucci. I have to tell you that he's probably my favorite Republican right now. I really like him. He's a really smart guy in a lot of ways. Nope. J. Scott Garibay, he used to have some pretty cool Yang videos back in the day. Here's a thing. Here's a channel called Yang Daily. Let's see what this is about.
Welcome back to Yang Daily. I'll be your host, Alex Cheney, bringing you all the Yang news you need to live your life right. We have quite a lot to go through today, some of it catching up on backlog from earlier in the week. We better get to it. Shout out to our Tier 3 patrons, Peter Park, Shane Meehan, and Nathan Stankowski, as well as all our other patrons. Did you notice an extra name in there? That's because Nathan's been a donor for a long time, but upgraded himself to Tier 3 just recently. Thank you so much, Nathan. It means a lot that after all this time and how chaotic my scheduling gets at times, you're willing to double down on saving this podcast at this point. Super appreciate you and everyone else who is helping to make this happen. And that's not all. Another very special can pass military spending, but not economic relief for the people. Ultimately, both parties are passing the bill primarily because they fear being labeled as anti-military if they oppose it. And of course, both sides have major donors in the military-industrial complex. The American people could do with similar representation.
Okay. I get bored without video content pretty quickly. I mean, that's the downfall of technology today. Like, I got bored really quick with that. You guys can go listen to that if you want to. No offense, but nope, I don't see any other Yang news. So, yes, well, I mean, I'm not a fan of establishment Republicans. I was saying that I was a fan of Anthony Scaramucci as an individual. He's one of the few, very, very few that I actually like and listen to. So I'm not a fan of establishment Republicans either. All right, well, there's not much left to share, so I might as well pull that down. Nothing too exciting in the Yang news today, I guess. So thanks for joining in. If you did, if anybody has any questions or comments, throw them out there. Here, I'm going to put up all the places you can find me. You don't come after me if you are just going to come poke me in the eye about stuff, okay? Like, I just had an experience with that, and, like, that just wasn't fun. That's not what I'm here for. All right, so, also, I pay for this service out of my own pocket, this streaming service. So if anybody watching feels like donating a couple bucks to the cause, that would be really great. You can either send it through the Messenger Pay, like the Facebook Pay. I've been using that for years, and it's totally trustworthy. And then my Cash App is $Yang Gang for Life with the word "for" spelled out. So I'm going to let it run through one more time. And if there's nothing, oh, there's comments. Hold on. They will be the new Democratic Party. Take care. Well, thank you. Well, I mean, it's a crazy time that we're living in right now, DRS Metal, isn't it? I have no idea what the future holds, honestly. Like, we can only speculate at this point because it's just like so far out of what I had previously imagined. And I've been politically active for like some time, you know? So anyway, we're over here trying to create the future that we want to see. So the Yang Gang is still working hard. We're still trying to put humanity first and create that change. We're still putting out all the UBI information and all that. So everybody hang in there, and we'll see y'all next time. Let me know in the comments if you liked this afternoon time, the 12 o'clock news cruise. I kind of did, so I'm going to try to do it again tomorrow and see how it goes. All right? All right, everybody. Have a great day. Yang Gang love.